If you're a Florida State football fan, you are pumped. 6 straight to finish off 22. Everything looking good for 2023. One of the chic picks across college football to make a bid for the ACC championship, and maybe more than that. We got Logan Robinson on the line, as always, from Noel Game Day. Get on over there to Noel Game Day. Check out Logan and the rest of the staff there. Logan, what's going on today?
Mark, good to be back with you doing some position previews. This time, the offense. We do this every year, and it's crazy. Time has already flown by where we're already done with football season. It felt like football season just started just a little while ago, and now we're already getting ready for spring camp, which is a gigantic one, probably one of the biggest ones that we've been able to preview just because of the excitement coming into Mike Norvell's team in 2023. So I'm just more ready to get back out on the practice field. We've got a media luncheon coming up soon next Friday. Then we hit back out onto the practice fields on that Tuesday morning. So things starting to feel a little bit warmer here too. Perfect timing to see some of the youngins transfers and get back at it. I'm excited.
Folks, keep in mind that Logan and I get together with the rest of the guys, Jason Parker, James Coleman, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, right here at the Voice of College Football for our Florida State live show. So you got to get in on that. All right, Logan, let's start with the guy that makes it all work, Jordan Travis. And you know what my deal is on him. Have always, admired the great athletic ability, always saw him as a playmaker. But, I didn't necessarily think that this guy was starting quarterback material in the ACC. I'm talking like 2020. And then, man, he takes a huge step forward, takes another huge step forward. And we're talking about like a complete, polished quarterback as a passer, runner, leader. He's got it all.
Me and you discussed it a ton. We were like, well, what are we going to see from Jordan Travis in 2022? And we wanted to see better game as a passer. And he showed that. He showed that he can get the ball downfield. He can grow chemistry with a lot of wide receivers. I think that's something that we kind of overlook nowadays, building chemistry outside of your starting unit, maybe a few guys that sub in throughout the game, but to be able to build chemistry outside of your wide receiver room into your running back room, tight ends. There was a lot that Jordan Travis developed in that we might have overlooked from the 2022 season where Florida State was able to reach 10 wins. What does Jordan Travis bring into this spring? I think you're going to see a more vocal leader from J. Trav. We saw this a little bit during practices near the middle half of the season after Florida State went on their 3-game losing streak. You saw a guy that was more assertive with his teammates, talked a little bit more to the defense, something that we had not seen. He kind of keeps to himself more. You're going to see a big leader, and I'm interested to see how that looks for Jordan Travis because I think Florida State is pushing for him to be on that national stage, try to push to get him up there in New York for the Heisman ceremony. There's going to be a lot of push from J. Trav, including Tony Tokars, who has a really nice unit right now because we'll go through a few more players. Or Tony Tokars, the year that he had, first year quarterbacks coach for Florida State, the way that he was able to help develop not only Jordan Travis, but also Tate Rodemaker. There was a lot of signs that you like from a new coach in that quarterback room. But Jordan Travis, I'm looking to him to develop a few more things, improve on certain things. I think that he can be better on rollout, connecting better in the deep ball. Still, that's something that might be one of his weaknesses. And you see better consistency from 2021 to 2022, but there's always room for improvement there. And, Florida State and Mike Norvell and that offense, they like taking shots, and Jordan Travis is that guy. And continuing to do that, I just think you're going to see more of, I don't know. I've just always seen Jordan Travis as a guy that will keep to himself. I'm just wondering what practices are going to look like because, like I said, things got a little bit chippier near the end of the year, and not saying that's a bad thing. This is football. It's not tennis. That's fine. We're going to have a good time and we're going to be physical in practices, but it also heats up your defense and it makes it a lot more competitive. Definitely when you're doing 11-on-11s. I like seeing Jordan Travis turn into something like this. He's kind of the alpha male there. He doesn't really have to show it too much vocally because he would show it on the field. And we've had a lot of teammates tell us that, but for him to kind of now add in the force of using his voice for this entire team will be something I think that will be significant for this offense.
And there's something that's got to be said to working in the same system for multiple years,
Mhm.
not having to constantly change. Of course, Dillingham moved on 2 off seasons ago. It's always been Mike Norvell's offense to a certain extent, but just being more comfortable and it just kind of being not something that you got to constantly think about, but it's second nature at this point.
It is, it is, and being able to be through that system now, and I thought you really saw it last year. It kind of felt seamless to him, and you saw multiple drives. We saw it in New Orleans against LSU, where they were running the time. That was their game. They were managing that game, and I thought that was a really good way of how Mike Norvell had set up that game plan and allowed Jordan Travis to be at the helm of the game, not LSU, not any kind of Brian Kelly there. Mike Norvell had set up Jordan Travis to run that offense and go down the field and burn some time. And that's something that Florida State was doing early part of the 2022 season. And he just understands the system better. And I think they're understanding how to utilize him better, put him in better spots. And, we're going to talk about it here with the offensive line, but props to them. They keep the guy healthy. He stayed fully healthy in 2022. Another thing that we overlook, because that was the biggest stressor when you and I would be previewing either fall camp, spring camp. It was all about Jordan Travis and healthy. If Jordan Travis can stay healthy, that is a lethal player, one of the top lethal players in college football with his explosiveness and the way that he can run like a running back and then also throw the ball. That makes him a scary athlete to face against if you're a defense. So him being fully healthy is going to be another big thing. And I think Florida State has done a really good job on the back end of things. Behind closed doors of making sure that he's good to go week in and week out. But, a lot of that goes to Alex Atkins and his offensive line group for doing so.
Logan, of course, looking back on the 22 season and looking at where this team might have turned a corner, I think we both like that Friday night game at Louisville, and
Yeah.
Jordan Travis had to leave the field. Now, you don't want to miss your starting quarterback, especially when he's a star for a long period of time, but the best teams in the country are able to miss that guy for a game or two, or be able to have a guy that's good enough, capable enough, reliable enough to be a bridge to where the starter can come back. I'm not saying that Tate Rodemaker's that guy. That's kind of what I'm asking you. But at least on that night, he shook off a slow start, a quick pick, and he shook it off and he played a really good game and they won a key game. But how do you feel about the backup quarterback situation?
I feel really good that Tate Rodemaker is coming back this year. And I think that was something that Florida State has done a good job overall. We've talked about it on our Wednesday night show, Mark, that we do every week. We've talked about retaining players. That's now a huge thing for Florida State. And, look at the NIL now, and now Florida allowing a bill where the coaches and the administration can help kind of facilitate some of these deals on the NIL side of things to keep players at your program or other things, vice versa with recruiting. But specifically in this area that we're talking about, Tate Rodemaker coming back, being able to back up Jordan Travis is humongous. And I think, too, we look back at that Louisville game, and that was, I think, the biggest game for Florida State last year in a lot of different ways. But just to see Tate Rodemaker specifically come in, you have a mistake, but to see the response, we saw that a lot from a lot of players throughout that season, but the response, you want to see something from him to make up for those mistakes. And Tate Rodemaker comes in and he's able to win the game for you on the road on a Friday night, where usually you see a Florida State team kind of collapse a little bit, kind of, I don't know, just give up almost. And the mentality has changed quite a bit, and it all starts in your quarterback room and the presence that it brings. And I think Jordan Travis has helped kind of lead that room with Tate Rodemaker to say, hey, we still have a mission. We still got to go on and win these games. And Tate Rodemaker did that. I'm really glad to see him come back. I think it's huge. We've seen development from him also, but I think, Tate, if Jordan Travis ever were to go down, Tate, like we were talking about earlier, these guys know the system now. This shouldn't be hard. This shouldn't be difficult. Sure, you're going to have a few switch ups in your game plans week by week, but things shouldn't look just blasphemous to you whenever you get your play sheets or your game prep, or you're looking at film and you're trying to decide who needs to go where, or at least building your chemistry too with your playmakers. Florida State runs a lot of 2s and 3s and practices with their starting quarterbacks, or if you're putting Tate Rodemaker in that second team, he's going to run with the 1s. These guys have built the chemistry for a couple of years now. They know the system. They know what Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell likes to run. They know like the play calling that Mike Norvell likes to go with, and kind of understand the scheme of things where, Mike Norvell, we'll run it, and then we're going to go take a shot. That's something that is engraved inside both Rodemaker and Jordan Travis's head. And you're hoping now AJ Duffy and then a true freshman, Brock Lynn, coming in can kind of get on the hang of that also.
Yeah, Logan Robinson on the line, Noel Game Day. And again, Logan and I get together with James and Jason every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, live right here at the Voice of College Football. So you got to get here for the live show, breaking down Florida State's offense heading toward spring practice.